AP All-American teams were released. We have our first team, our second team, and our third team. Dion, I want to look at these and go through it and see if we agree with it, if there needs to be any changes, we think anybody got snubbed. So let's start with the first team. You have the unanimous selections, Cooper Flag and Janai Broom. Of course, I think everyone expected those guys to be on there. Rounding out the first team, you have Braden Smith. You have from Purdue, you have Mark Sears from Alabama, and you have Walter Clayton from Florida. On the second team, you have JT Toppin from Texas Tech, Cam Jones from Marquette, John Tonji from Wisconsin, PJ Haggerty from Memphis, and RJ Lewis from St. John's. And on the third team, you have Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton, you have Zakai Ziegler from Tennessee, Eric Dixon from Villanova, and LJ Cryer from Houston, and Hunter Dickinson from Kansas. So those round out the All-American teams. Some of the honorable mentions. So the people that we think might be stubbed. Neat Clifford, Donovan Dent, Dylan Harper, Chucky Hepburn, Trey Johnson, Curtis Jones, Trey Kaufman-Renn, Chaz Lanier, Derek Queen, Maxime Renault, Javon Small, and Bennett Sturts. A lot of names there. A lot of good names there. I actually my first reaction to this is I don't really have that many complaints, but I'll throw it to you first, Dion. Is there anything on here that sticks out right away that needs to be addressed?
Hunter Dickinson. Was that just kind of like, hey man, we know you're still in college, here you go type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand. I went both ways with this one, Dion, because there's a lot of outrage about maybe guys like, Trey Kaufman-Renn not being it or Derek Queen being another option. Guys like even guys like Maxime Renault, who obviously the team success was not there, but he was incredible this year for Stanford, and you can't pull the team success card when I look at Eric Dixon and see him on the third team, even though you can't really argue with Eric Dixon's 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. But I mean at the same time, Hunter Dickinson averaged almost 18 points and 10 rebounds.
But like
Uh,
he could do that, like that's like standard for Hunt. Like and maybe I guess I shouldn't be like, hey Hunt, like you're that good to where 18 and 10 is just like normal. But I do think that should factor in all American teams where it's just like what was more impressive to you, TKR averaging 20 and 7, and I'm gonna pander for two Purdue fans right now. But is it TKR averaging 20 and 7 or is it Hunter averaging 18 and 10? Because to me it's TKR in a long shot.
yeah, look, I've been one of TKR's skeptics, I guess, is what I would say. And I do think there is a real gripe that Hunter Dickinson got in over him. I think that's fair. But here's how I'll flip this as well. Do we want to have the conversation that Matt Painter had two All-Americans and finished sixth in the Big Ten, fifth in the Big Ten?
What's worse, two All-Americans, six in the Big Ten four seed, or your 18 and 10 highest paid transfer ever, one All-American, seven seed got to play Calipari.
That is some nasty work. That's some truly nasty work. Did not address that. Didn't think about addressing that. But yeah, I think on that third team there was a little bit of like, where are we at right now? And I don't really know how to feel about that. Like, with all due respect, I've also been a critic at times this year of this guy. Chaz Lanier not making any All-American team to me is kind of crazy. Like Tennessee is a top 10 team and he's averaging 18 points a game. One of the best scorers in the country. 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, shooting 40% from three, 44% from the field. I understand he had some rough goes of it. He's had some rough games here or there in between there, but for him to be the level of scorer that he is on a top 10 team, do you think Chaz Lanier was snubbed? And if he was snubbed, which guy would you take off?
I don't think Chaz Lanier was snubbed, to be honest with you. However, this is gonna sound nuts. I could see the argument with him over Zakai Ziegler.
I can see the argument with him over Zakai Ziegler, and also with all due respect, I can see the argument with him over LJ Cryer, man.
You got to have somebody from Houston.
You don't have to.
You do. Yeah, I feel like you do. You
No,
do.
no,
I feel like you
why?
do. Because they're like, to me, Houston's in that Duke Auburn tier. And Florida. No disrespect. I mean, Florida's come on late. Don't get me wrong, but Duke, Auburn, Houston, to me, like Duke and Auburn were the two most dominant teams. Houston should have been in that conversation the whole season.
Yeah, I understand, but like Houston, as good as they are, I mean they are good, but they're also like a sum of the parts team. I don't know. I have a very hard time looking at, what the kind of what Chaz Lanier was able to do for a really good Tennessee team, and when he has better numbers than uh than LJ Cryer. I guess I see that you got to kind of make sure that you have some representation from Houston, but I don't know. I really don't like factoring teams as much in All-American teams. Some other points from this. I was really glad to see JT Toppin on the list and PJ Haggerty. I think both were very deserving. PJ Haggerty, I feel like has been going under the radar, even being as good as he is at Memphis. So it's kind of good to see him there. And also JT Toppin, I think, is one of the better players in the country. He's as a sophomore, he's just absolutely a monster. Good to see him get his credit. And last thing I'll say, I think that the NCAA or whoever's doing this voting, it has something against TKR. I think the TKR has an actual gripe. He doesn't end up on the the center list. He doesn't end up on the power forward list. Doesn't end up on any All-American teams. That's that's kind of crazy to me. But I don't know. Maybe he'll use that as motivation. Who really knows? The one thing I'll say though, if I want to put a little pushback on this, not saying that the guys on the third team are like all timers defensively, but man, TKR is so bad on the defensive end.
I mean, Hunter Dickinson though.
Hunter Dickinson looks like goddamn Walker Kessler compared to TKR defensively, truly.
Zakai's a good defender. Ralph gets mad at me whenever I say I don't understand why guards still just drop 30 on Zakai's head because he's short.
Yeah, look, I have a theory that'll one day to be discussed that I think Zakai Ziegler has the greatest PR team in college basketball history because we really ignore that he's just Kihei Clark the Aki way because he plays for Tennessee, and I one day we will actually get to the bottom of it. But before we get out of here, Dion, anything you want to speak to directly to the AP voters out there who possibly maybe left somebody off or maybe somebody should be in another spot?
Yeah, listen, I want to talk to the people of the NCAA. I've had enough.
This is
Y'all are
ridiculous.
gonna respect West Virginia moving forward, and you're gonna respect Javon Small, and you're gonna respect us. You don't get to cheat us out of the tournament and then double down and be like, by the way, Javon's not All American. You're not a tournament team. Uh, Moving forward, we will be respected, and we will file lawsuits if we aren't.
I hate that Dion's become a lawsuit university, but shout out to the Associated Press AP All-American teams. Good on you. That Hunter Dickinson stats combined with him being the 7th seed, hit me like a ton of bricks. I'll have to recover from that, but we'll figure it out.